Welcome back to this podcast where we look to the writings on generosity to inform our fund development work today. As you know, this podcast is not a podcast to discuss the latest fundraising techniques. Instead, we look to the writings, ancient to modern and from all cultures, to learn from the value of generosity. This podcast seeks that deeper wisdom of being a person in the beautiful space where generosity occurs. Each week, we take 5 minutes to reflect on a quote and 1 or 2 coaching questions to ground you for the week to come. Don't forget, subscribe to this weekly podcast in your favorite podcast app. One purpose of this podcast is to ground ourselves in the wisdom of ancient writers. So often, they speak to the same challenges that we face today in fundraising. This week, I am reading a quote from John Chrysostom from the 400s AD. The quote begins, "Helping a person in need is good in itself, but the degree of goodness is hugely affected by the attitude with which it is done. If you show resentment because you are helping the person out of a reluctant sense of duty, then the person may receive your help, but may feel awkward and embarrassed. This is because they feel beholden to you. If, on the other hand, you help the person in a spirit of joy, then the help will be received joyfully. The person will feel neither demeaned nor humiliated by your help, but rather will feel glad to have caused you pleasure by receiving your help. And joy is the appropriate attitude with which to help others, because acts of generosity are a source of blessing to the giver as well as the receiver." End quote. In fund development, we discuss how to motivate donors to give. Some methods evoke compassion, abundance, and joy. Yet other methods evoke fear, scarcity, and obligation. We have rightly called into question the techniques that are described as poverty porn. The essential of poverty porn is outlined in this week's quote. It evokes the reluctant sense of duty and makes the subject, our clients, embarrassed and demeaned. This week's quote reminds us of a better way. The way of giving through, and need I say, asking through, a spirit of joy. Let's reflect on 2 questions this week. When was a time when you were overwhelmed with the generosity of others because their generosity to you was given with such a spirit of joy that you received the generosity with pleasure? Is there an area of your fundraising work that you would like to bring that same spirit of joy? And how will you do so this week? To explore fundraising coaching, visit servingnonprofits.com. I will see you next week.